corresponding to the 23rd of July, the Lighthouse Torah Project Le'ilui Nishmat Devorah Feige Bat Shemuel, and as well as Ora Devorah Bat Shemuel, that today we are remembering the 30th day of her passing, known as the Sheloshim in Jewish law. Additionally, we dedicate this for the Refuah Shelema of Menachem Mendel ben Sarah Basha and Hannah Bat Shani among the Cholim of Am Israel. The iTorah live audio recording sponsored for the Shidduchim of Nehamadina Bat Hanabatia, Eliyahu Haim Ben Esther, Sarah Simcha Bat Sophie, and Rachel Penina Bat Jenny. Today we'll continue a topic that we started to discuss Friday concerning Perashat Pinchas, Perashat Balak, the using of a restroom, and how that affects the person spiritually. And I apologize in advance that I have to speak about a topic that perhaps should not be spoken during the time that we eat, but I'll try to be as eloquent and clean as possible. But it's imperative to know that the proper functioning of the human body is imperative not only to live, but also to Avodat Hashem. And there are many different ways that the person's spiritual well-being can become affected. We all know that eating, it's important. We need to eat. If a person doesn't eat, how can a person survive? But that being said, we all know very well that the laws of kashrut, which is the way the Torah describes how should a Jew eat, it's connected by affecting the body and the neshama, the body and the soul of the person. Although food is nourishment for the body, but food, it's also nourishment to the neshama. And the holier the food is, the kosher type of food, that has more benefits to the body and to the neshama. And I'm not referring now, just for the record, to what should a person eat and what should a person should not eat. Today we have not a tradition, but a common practice that people drink a lot of juices. Even the most untasty or flavored vegetables, people put in a vitamins, people put in a blender. To some of us, that's the only way we eat vegetables. I'm sorry to be so honest. But for a lot of people, this is what they need, and it's beautiful. Different things, different lifestyle, carb-free, gluten-free, keto diet, all these things that are becoming common words in our language, all that is related to the eating for the benefit and the well-being of the human body. But we all know very well, going back to Perashah Shemini. Aha. My brother is watching. Thank you, my dear brother. Good morning. How are you? Do I have to say Shehiyanu? Anyways, he listens every day. I know that because he makes me good comments. So, good morning. I hope you have a beautiful day. And I hope the weather in Brooklyn is treating you well. We heard that there was a mega heat wave over the weekend. And yesterday was a lot of flooding. And we hope that by Ezat Hashem, today things are better. Let's continue. So we all understand the spiritual benefit of kosher food. Let's move on to the next level. A person eats. Berachot before, berachot after, kosher, beautiful. What happens after we eat? We all know very well what happens. Part stays and part leaves. Today, with Hashem's help, I'd like to talk about a very fascinating explanation of the Ben Ish Chai that can be found in the introduction to Perashah Vayeseh. Vayesei Yaakov mi be'er Shaba. Although this pasuk refers when Yaakov Avinu left, nevertheless, today we're going to speak about what comes out of the human body. So the Ben Ish Hai explains the following. We have, and I try to keep it short and sweet, but this is a topic that I spoke about it maybe a week or two ago, and I use a word in Hebrew known as kelipa. Kelipa in English means the peel of a cucumber, the peel of a banana, the peel of an orange. That is kelipa. In Kabbalistic terms, kelipa means the negative aspect of something good. That is the Kabbalistic term of kelipa. And it says, to give a simple example, kelipa is the spiritual scab that it's created by sins. Like mitzvot bring light, averot remove light. Imagine yourself, if I want to see, let me put a simple mashal. The Ben Ish Hai puts it in plain English, and it says, the kelipa does not allow the light of godliness to be revealed. We can call it sitra hara, we can call it impurities, and I like to move on to the next sentence of the Ben Ish Hai. The Ben Ish Hai goes to the end of Sefer Devarim. The Torah tells us concerning the passing of Moshe Rabbeinu. The pasuk says in Perashah Bezot HaBeracha, Vayikbor oto bagai mul bet peor. The Torah gives you a location, which I don't think is a GPS location. Where is Moshe Rabbeinu buried? The pasuk says, Moshe Rabbeinu is buried in a place called Gai, across from Baal Peor. This is what the Torah says. Put in Waze or put in a GPS, Gai across from Baal Peor. It will tell you location not found. Because the Torah tells you, Velo yada ish et keburato ad hayom hazeh. No one knows where Moshe Rabbeinu is buried. But that doesn't mean that we cannot explain the location. There was a great rabbi, which I'm sure you heard of him, because I speak about him often. His name was Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, who wrote many great sefarim, and one of them, the very famous Tomer Devorah, which is required reading for the month of Elul. We'll talk about it when the time comes. And he writes, and it says, when the pasuk says, Mul bet peor, across from Mehillah, by Gboroto Bagai, what location is Gai? He says that if you look at the word Gai, Gai, Gimal Yod, is actually Yod Gimal. Yod Gimal represents exactly the 13 attributes of mercy of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is the meaning of the word Yod Gimal. It's a lot of meanings. Yod Gimal, Yosef Galimidi, for example. Yod Gimal Midot Rahamim, 13 attributes of mercy, 13 rules of Talmudic learning. We say every morning, Rabbi Ishmael Omer, Bishlosh Esre Midot HaTorah Nidreshet. In Ishtabach, we have 13 words of praise to Hashem, Shirush Baha, Hallel, Vezimbra. So we know that the number 13 is a very special number in Judaism. It's a very holy number, it's a very powerful number. For the Goim, is completely the opposite. Don't put the 13th floor in a building. You don't see the number 13 in the elevator. Friday the 13th for the Americans. Tuesday the 13th from South America. But for us, the number 13, wow. Why? Short answer, because the number 13 in Hebrew equals to the word Ehad. Hashem is one. And if you put 13 times 2, gives you 26. Hashem's name. Love in Hebrew, Ahava. 13. So when there is love from the husband to the wife, and the wife reciprocates the love to the husband, you have 13 from the husband to the wife, and 13 from the wife to the husband. What do you have? 26. Now you have Hashem's presence coming into the marriage, into the relationship. This was a bonus round of Pirushim of the word Yod Gimel, of the number Yod Gimel. But I'd like to concentrate, thank you so much. Mehila. Beautiful. Thank you. Ahora viene todo. Thank you. Comes the next part of the pasuk. Mul bet peor. Across from peor. What is peor? What is peor? So, peor is the worst type of level of impurity. Now, you may ask yourself, Rabbi, there was no better location to bury Moshe Rabbeinu? You got to bury him in an area that is a reminder of a sin, that is a reminder of a tragedy. And I'm going to get back to the tragedy and the sin in a moment. But you know what the Mefarshim explain? That Borei Olam buried Moshe Rabbeinu dafka in this location. So anytime this mega transgression by the Jewish people in last week's Torah portion, Perashat Balak, every time the sin wants to pop up to accuse the Jewish people, the presence of Moshe will prevent of this becoming an active file, an accusation against Bnei Israel. That is the reason why Moshe Rabbeinu is buried in that geographical location. But what is really the sin of Baal Peor? Let's understand the sin of Baal Peor. I started to mention this on Friday, and I said to the Kahal and to the audience that I will discuss it, thank you so much, more at length during this week. And we have a statement that says, Baruch Omer Be'oseh, blessed be he, the one who says and does. So now I'm going to talk to you about Peor, what we left pending last week. Remember? Friday. Hazak Baruch, you're a good listener. Good. Anyways, so let me go quickly, very brief, historically. Amen. Baruch, Atta Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, shehakol nihiyah v'tbaro. The pasuk tells you, or tells us, Vayeshev Israel b'Shittim. The Jewish people dwell in a place called Shittim. I saw a fascinating pirush on Shabbat describing the power of the environment that has on a person's life. We all agree. Imagine yourself, if you walk on the street in Miami, you get a suntan. That's it. If you walk into a perfume store, you smell like perfume. If you walk in a tannery, you smell like meat, like leather, like hide. So we all understand that the environment has an influence on the person. You know what this parasha teaches us? That the water of a city has an influence on the life of a person. What does it mean? It says in the Mefarshim that this water of Shittim is connected to the water of Sedom Ba'amorah. That water travels and it meets the water of Shittim. So this water has spiritual poison. I know that what I'm saying may sound strange. Come to my house, I show you the book, the source. It says the water can influence the person. Baruch haba, welcome back. Thank you. Let's clarify. And I'm sure that you're going to say, yes, correct. There are certain subdeveloped countries that they don't have running, filter, purified water. Guess what? Those places carry a lot of illnesses and bacteria. And many of these countries resort to Israeli technology of how to make water from air. Have you seen that? I've seen it. Go to the kotel. Right? If you go to the kotel, to the left, you're going to see a stand. Water out of air. This has become the salvation to many countries that they have issues with the water. The water carries germs. The water carries bacteria. So if we thought that this is only from a physical aspect, the Torah is telling us that the spiritual environment affects the water. So if you drink water from Las Vegas, I'm bringing you an example. Okay? This is me talking. The book didn't say. Okay, when you say the word Las Vegas, what is the first thing that goes to your mind? Slot machines. And other things which are obviously inappropriate to speak about them. So we understand that the cities have an influence on the person. And the Pasuk says, Vayahel ha'am liznot el benot Moav. Now, the spiritual challenge of immorality became activated. Why there is so much emphasis in our Torah on being careful what the person thinks about, of being careful what the person sees. Why there is so much? Because it takes a minimal, how can I call it, atom, minuscule bacteria of inappropriateness to trigger a reaction of the brain, of the heart, of the eye, and the human body. Continues the Pasuk. ותקראנה לעם לזבחי אלוהיהם, ויאכל העם וישתחוו לאלוהיהם. Once you have the opposite gender, now you have immorality, alcohol, drinking, music. What do you have? Idolatry. ויסמד ישראל לבעל פאור. And Bnei Israel clinged, united itself to the idolatry of Peor. ויחרף Hashem beIsrael. And this trigger Hashem's anger towards the Jewish people. As the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin, what is the Peor idolatry? How do you do Avodah Zarah to Peor? We usually understand that idolatry means what? Bowing down to an idol. That's what it means, Avodah Zarah. Here the Gemara explains, שפוערים לפניו פי הטבעת ומוציאים רעי וזוהי עבודתו. Translation. In plain English, clean relieve yourself. Number 2, in front of the idol. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. We all, I'm sure, are very careful in the bathroom. Correct? And we're lucky to live in a time that you have air conditioning, fan, handheld bidet, running water, a soft closing toilet seat, and you have an automatic bidet, which is a problem on Shabbat, obviously, but otherwise you can have a handheld bidet. That is Gan Eden, and the door closed. Go back centuries. What do they have? Open door policy. God forbid. That's why there is a Kabbalistic concept that a person should not speak in the bathroom. There is such a thing of not talking in the bathroom. There is such a thing.
Someone outside.
Somebody's calling you, Moshe, or somebody's calling you from the outside. Many times people say, Why they do that? Because there is a spiritual concept that words in the bathroom reactivate the power of Tum'ah. There is such a thing. Doesn't mean there is a sin if you talk in the bathroom. But I'm only creating an awareness that the bathroom is not a place of holiness. And it all emanates from what we are learning today. It all emanates from what we are learning today. Why the bathroom carries Tum'ah. We're going to get back to the Ben Ish Chai in a moment. Even putting food in the bathroom, it's a problem. Eating in the bathroom is a problem. Because we are crossing a line. That's why bathrooms don't have mezuzot. And there are those who go to the bathroom who remove the sisit outside. You're not obligated to do it. You're supposed to lift up the sisit for it not to get dirty, etc. But all the negative tum'ah of the bathroom and what a person does in a bathroom comes from this week's Torah portion. Continues, and it says that now Am Israel became involved with zenut and avodah zara, and idolatry, immorality and idolatry. And even though you may say, Rabbi, what kind of idolatry is this? This is madness. I agree with you. But we have a rule that irrelevant if it makes sense or does not make sense, if the goyim utilize some type of step as idolatry, it carries the transgression of avodah zara. With that being said, I'm not finished.
Bathroom is not shower, Rabbi.
Bathroom is not shower, correct. Shower is shower, bathroom is bathroom. But one thing, that in the shower,
You sing?
no, it depends who you ask. استنى شوية. I understand what he's saying. Singing under the shower. Make sure not to sing Jewish song. Hashem Melech, Hashem. And you're naked. Come on. Okay? So what are you going to sing? I don't know what you're going to sing, but, but there are people who do sing under the shower. Okay. Today is not the topic of singing under the shower, but definitely not to sing Jewish song. But then to sing non-Jewish song, that's also a problem. You understand? So what do you do under the shower? Nothing. Take a shower and leave and finish. But we'll save the topic for some other time. Let's go now to the Ben Ish Chai. Comes the Ben Ish Chai and it says, and I need to be a bit graphic to understand how everything falls into place. We mentioned before that darkness prevents the essence of the person to shine. And that's why we are so happy when the sun rises. And people venture out, people are happy, people are content. And when suddenly becomes dark, people go back home, people stay indoors, they don't leave, etc. I'm using this mashal to go to the next statement. The human body, the Ben Ish Hai says, has different types of openings. And we know the openings of the human body: the eyes, the nostrils, the mouth, and the ears. Then there is an additional opening, number 1 and number 2. All of the openings, with the exception of number 2, the Ben Ish Hai says, they face forward. And that aspect of the human body represents receiving the godly light of holiness, of Kedusha, with the exception of number 2, that is pointing downwards. When a person goes to the restroom, for number 2, usually people sit. And I'm sorry to be graphic, but we are humans and we need to understand. And only when a person does certain motions, that activates, that the body releases whatever waste is inside of the human body. And that's why going to the restroom is very healthy and necessary. What happens if a person for a certain amount of days couldn't go to the restroom? The person is constipated. They may have to give something to drink, prune juice, or if not, suppositories, or whatever things, tactics could exist in the world of medicine and or natural medicine, to activate going to the bathroom. Going to the bathroom too much, that's also not good, because it may mean that the person is dehydrated. So there is a medium. What is it considered? Going to the bathroom normal, not going at all, or going too much? And I'm not a doctor, and I don't know exactly all the names. I do know some, but I think that I'm going to save them for some other time. Today is not a biology class, but today is a class about understanding how the human body functions, and even so something so essential and necessary, a person, an automatic in a certain extent, there is a spiritual redemption that we achieve every time we do this. Comes the Ben Ish Hai and it says, and the Ben Ish Hai mentioned what I mentioned before about Moshe Rabbeinu. That Moshe Rabbeinu is buried there, and when this Avon wants to accuse the Jewish people, retrieves, and it says, Bezehu hata'am. And this is the reason why, number 2, Be'ahorav belo besad hapanim. And it says it's towards the back of the body. And it says why? Because this orifice in the human body never gets light. Never gets light. For example, a person goes to the bathroom. A person takes a shower. Everything gets light. And when I mean light, don't necessarily means exposing yourself, God forbid, in a public forum. That's asur any day. We're talking about even light of the bathroom. But that particular body part, it's always in darkness. You follow? Continues the Ben Ish Hai. And it says, Behinei hanekev nikra b'Torah bet peor. This opening, the Torah calls it the place of peor, shezeu sod avodah zara shel peor. It says that this was the power of peor, and is put in the back. And for this reason, the Ben Ish Hai says, Ubazeh yuban ta'am. With this, we are able to understand how careful a person must be with the bathroom. In what sense? Comes the Ben Ish Chai and it says, Sarich ha'adam liyot nizhar me'od. A person needs to be super careful. Shelo yashhe nekavav. If a person feels the need of going to the bathroom, especially number 2, vishaketz atzmo. Don't create for yourself a feeling of impurity or a feeling of uncomfortableness. Ela kol et. But any moment, the Ben Ish Chai says, that a person feels that the moment of releasing whatever is waste, belihur be'ikuv kelal. You feel the need, go. And with this, we understand what the Zohar Kadosh writes, that a person must check their body before they pray and before they learn Torah. Where do we learn it from? Sefer Hasidim says, David HaMelech writes in the book of Tehillim, Bechol kerobai et Shem kodsho. All my intestines will praise the Almighty. What is it referring to? The Sefer Hasidim says, intestines is where the deposit of waste lays in the bodies, in the person's body. That's why today is very common that people do colon cleansing. Colon cleansing. Going to the bathroom is one thing. Colon cleansing is to do a tune-up, oil change, and wheel alignment, and an engine complete tune-up to make sure that the inner organs are all properly functioned. And it says, Shelo yeh bikravav tinofet. And it says, the Gemara in Berachot, Harotze sheyekabel alav ol malchut shamayim. The Gemara asks, do you want to get Hashem's presence in your life? Listen what the Gemara says. Number 1, ipane. Go to the bathroom. Clean your body. Number 2, itol yadav. Make sure to wash your hands. Obviously, we do that. Beyaniach tefillin. Then put on talet and tefillin. Then say Shema. And then do the Amidah. Guess what? When a person's body is clean, actually, there is a pasuk that says, Yichon likrat Elokecha Israel. Prepare yourself to meet the Creator. And this pasuk doesn't speak about for the end of life, God forbid. This pasuk refers every day in the morning. How you going to see God today? Are you clean or you not clean? Did you take a shower or your body smells, God forbid? Are your garments clean or the garments are smelly? And then comes the internal. That's why David HaMelech writes, it's actually a part of the Shabbat prayers, Kal asmotai, tomarna Hashem mi chamocha. All my body parts will say, who is like you, Hashem? The body parts that we are talking about are not only the external body parts, but it also includes the internal body parts. Comes Rabbeinu Ha'ari and asks an interesting question. If whatever we are saying now, so far, is about the cleanliness of the human body, when there is a warning from the Torah, I'm not sure that is a negative commandment, but it's a warning from the Torah. And the pasuk says, Bal teshakesu et nafshotechem. Do not give a repulsive feeling to your soul, to your nefesh. Nefesh, we know, is one of the fragments of the neshama of the person. And we as Yehudim, we are a combination package. Guf and neshama. The body and the soul. So if we're talking about repulsiveness, okay, who are we talking about? The body or the soul? Most of the time we will say the body. The body smells. The body sees. The body hears. The body touches, senses. But interesting, the Pasuk didn't say the body. The Pasuk said the soul. So how can a person have something repulsive that affects the soul? Comes the Gemara and it says, שהמשהה בנקביו עובר על בל תשקסו. It says when there is residue or waste that needs to leave the human body, and a person is not making the effort to go ahead and relieve themselves, the neshama does not feel comfortable. Unbelievable concept. Unbelievable concept that the neshama does not feel comfortable. Like non-kosher food. And the Ben Ish Chai continues. Ki inyan ha'achila. When a person eats, lebarer ha'ochel mitoch ha'pisolet. The way Hashem created this machine known as the human body, it is so perfect that the human body absorbs the food, and then we have a distribution system like Amazon. Okay? Part goes to the body parts. Certain foods are beneficial to enhance the heart, the liver, the kidneys, whatever body parts becomes part of our muscle, becomes part of our body mass. But also a pisolet na'aseh mutar benithe lemata. And there is a pipe, it says the Ben Ish Chai, that we know this, that whatever the body doesn't want, it pushes away and it goes into a track and eventually gets delivered to the toilet bowl. Umizeh na'asu hakelipot. The Ben Ish Chai says that from the residue that the body cannot benefit, now we have something with a certain, I don't want to use the word malice, because I don't think it's what he's trying to say, but something not useful to the human body. Why the doctors tell us all the time, make sure to eat healthy and make sure to do exercise, etc. Because the body requires to have all of the above. You cannot say, oh, I'm eating kosher, so everything is good. No. We know very well that a person can eat kosher, can say blessings before and after, but a person can eat like Esav, like there is no tomorrow. Or a person can eat like Yaakov, with self-control, with measurements. Continues the Ben Ish Chai, and it says that when a person delays relieving themselves, removing the extra leftover wasteful element of food that became a waste, and the person keeps it in the body, the neshama does not feel comfortable. The neshama says, now I need to pray. Now I need to learn. How can I do it when you're bothering me? It's very deep what we are saying. And I'm using human language to understand the severity of the avon of last week's Torah portion. And it says the Ben Ish Chai, Bechol derachecha da'ehu. When Shlomo HaMelech in Mishle says, in every step of life, you get to see God. To most of all, this may mean, how do I act? How do I speak? How do I conduct business? And today we learn a new level, that even something so personal, private, and mandatory, like going to the restroom, there is a godly element involved in it. For holiness, or God forbid, the opposite. And therefore it says that even going to the bathroom is a way of serving God. Even going to the bathroom is a way of serving God. Can you imagine a person after 120, they say, why you have so many disqualified prayers? And the person says, how come? I pray with the minyan. Yes, but you should have gone to the bathroom first. You pray fast, and then you went to the bathroom. You should have done the opposite. Go to the bathroom, and then pray. And there is such halakha. If a person feels the urge of going to the bathroom, better to miss the prayer with the minyan and go to the bathroom. So that's why when I plan myself, when I wake up in the morning, I allow time for the restroom. I don't just, 15 minutes and I'm ready. No. My day usually takes me to be ready proper all the way an hour. Which is exactly what the Gemara says. It says, the Talmud, that in the early generations, they used to prepare themselves an hour before prayers. But let's clarify. Their preparation of an hour did not include going to the bathroom, taking a shower, and having a coffee. Their preparation meant coming to shul an hour before praying to prepare themselves mentally. I'm going to praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If it's a Torah class or Hitbodedut, whatever formula they use. Today, if we come on time, we are very happy. Right? Right. An hour after, correct. So continues the Ben Ish Hai. One more. And it says, we spoke a lot about number 2. We understand. What about number 1? Does number 1 carries the same requirement as number 2 or not? The short answer is yes, because with number 1 there is a greater danger that a man's reproductive organ can become affected by the person not going to the restroom whenever the body sends a message. The Ben Ish Hai says it clearly, Yesh hashash sakana ve'akarut. Akarut means that the zera of the man is not productive to conceive a child. And there is a reason behind it. I'm not a doctor, but I understand that the zera, the semen, for those who may not understand the Hebrew word, the seed that is released by the man's organ, where does it come from? From the same opening of number 1. And this is a miracle by Hashem, that when a person goes to the restroom, certain fluid comes out, and when the person is intimate, another fluid comes out. There is no confusion for the record. Now, but you know what I believe the Ben Ish Hai is trying to say? Since the volume of number 1 is much heavier, and the amount of liquid that number 1 produces is much more than number 2 semen, which I must clarify, since I'm already talking about this, that urine, it's all about volume. And semen, zera, is all about quality. The quality of the zera, the motility of the zera, that's how they call it in medical fields, medical terms, I believe, which means a few drops has millions of sperms, and the millions of sperms that doesn't mean that they are productive sperms. Chas v'shalom, correct? It's all about quality. Now that we understand quality and quantity, imagine yourself what happens in the membranes between channel track 1 or track 2. Track 1 inflates that area and flattens the space where number 2, zeta, comes out from. And I'm not a doctor, and I apologize if I use layman terms to make it understanding why the digestive system, how it works, number 1 and number 2, can also has an influence in spirituality, in the acceptance of our prayers, in the pure prayers that we do, and even to father a child, etc. So it says the Ben Ish Chai, who in the right mind, knowing all this, will procrastinate going to the bathroom? Nobody. Why? Because they know I'm praying now. I go later. You have a chance to determine. And I repeat, there are exceptions in the halakha. There are certain bodies that they send a message, but it takes you half an hour to deliver that message. You follow me what I'm saying? And I use a funny sentence so we understand, because I believe that this topic is very serious. And therefore the Ben Ish Chai says, Monea mimenu taharata mahashava. It says sometimes people don't think properly. Why not? There are many reasons. But one reason the Ben Ish Chai says that the impurity that lingers in the body does not allow the person to have a clear mind. And it's true. It is true. I agree. Sometimes, okay, let me get it over with. And then you do a khafif. And then you realize, I should have done this, I should have done that. Continues the Ben Ish Chai. Umi shehu ba'al nefesh. A person who cares about their spiritual well-being. Beroseh lehidabek bekono. And wants to blend, wants to bond with the Almighty. Sarich leizaher sheyegufo naki bechol sha'a. Make sure the body is always clean. Beze mo'il leberiyut haguf. And besides that, there is a bonus that the body functions properly. Vena'aseh beriya hadasha. You renew your life every time you go to the bathroom. Why? Because the toxins go out of the body. I can continue, but we know the halakha of going to sleep. Today I have to finish soon. We know the halakha of going to sleep. How does a person goes to sleep at night? Don't tell me with pajamas, kippah and sisit. Of course. It's good omen for Irat Shamayim to sleep with seni'ut. Especially with sisit and kippah. I'm throwing you this as a bonus. But let's skip that today. How does a person goes to sleep at night? The halakha is clear. You lay down on your left first, and then on your right. First left, then right. Why first left and then right? Short answer. So all the digestive body parts, gravity will bring them down. So in the morning, the person is able to go to the restroom, to be able to pray. Because if the person will lay down on the right, all the body parts will emit gases and toxins that will be traveling to the head and the brain of the person. The Ben Ish Chai wrote this without going to La Sorbonne, or without going to Yale, or without going to Harvard. coming all the way from the Talmud, from the Zohar, Rabbeinu Hari, Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, going all the way to Perashat Balak / Perashat Pinchas. Because we cannot split Balak from Pinchas. The Perashat Pinchas started in Perashat Balak. Now we are able to understand why the Torah and why Hashem, so to speak, became very furious with Am Israel. We can even, I'm not going to say it. Okay? But a person does an avon. Okay? A person commits a certain transgression. Why a person commits a transgression? Many reasons. We can blame the Yetzer Hara, right? That's an easy one. Ta'ava, desires, lack of self-control, not believing in themselves. But usually when a person does an avon, there is some type of, I don't want to say the word benefit, but there is something that happens. What benefit did the Jewish people get from Baal Peor? To relieve themselves in front of a statue? Which this brings a mega question. How the Jewish people had what to relieve if the man had no side effects? You like the question? The man had only positive effect in the human body. Not going to the bathroom if you ate man, because man was all Kedusha. So if it's all Kedusha, how could it be that they had what to give? Short answer, that the Kedusha can only flourish without Tum'ah. And that's the difference between Kelipa and Kedusha. They both are written with a Kaf. They both finish with a He. Kelipa, Kedusha. Kelipa means the shell that blocks the Kedusha. You cannot dance in two weddings at the same time. There was a famous pasuk, I believe from Eliyahu Navi, that says, Ad matai atem poshim al shete hase'ifim, imahare ha'elokim vayelechu, beimahare ha'hevel vayehbalu. Eliyahu says, till when you gonna dance in two weddings at the same time? You eat kasher at home, you eat taref on the street. You go to shul for nets, and you go to a nightclub at night. Either follow God or follow heaven. This is, by the way, and I'll finish with this. 100%. Teshuvah, it's a process. We agree on that. But there are certain things that are not expected from the Jewish people who left Egypt, the Jewish people who received the Torah, from the Jewish people that saw miracles and wonders in front of them, from the Jewish people that had Moshe Rabbeinu and Aharon HaKohen and whoever they had in the 40 years in the desert of leadership. Also the fellow who goes to nets and goes to a nightclub. What process is it? If you already understand what does it mean to pray nets, do you need to be told that going to a nightclub with goyim is prohibited? I understand the process when the person has zero affiliation. But a person that is already doing it, do it all the way. And this was the fear of Rivka. Remember when Rivka was pregnant? Before she was told that she was carrying twins, what was the fear of Rivka? I have a son with dual personality. He wants to dance at two weddings at the same time. He wants to go to yeshiva and he wants to go to church. And she says, one son with dual personality? That's a recipe for disaster. When she was told that she was carrying two, and one will be one way, and the other one will be the other way, she was able to breathe better. And the Pasuk tells us that Yaakov and Esav, the Pasuk says, "Vaitrotzetzu abanim bekirba." They were fighting inside of her womb. And I ask you a question. Why they should have been fighting? Doesn't the Talmud tells us that the child learns Torah from the Malach during the 9 months of pregnancy? True. But when Esav is next to you, you want to run away. And this is what happened with Yaakov Avinu. Why Yaakov Avinu had the desire to leave? It says, you're putting me next to Esav. What am I going to learn from Esav? To learn Torah and be a gangster? I'd rather be born without Torah than being next to Esav. This was the reason why Yaakov Avinu. And Esav says, how do you expect me to stay next to Yaakov? I don't want to be like Yaakov. I want to be Esav. So Esav says, I also want to leave. And we all know the end of the story. My good friends, I would love to continue, but I think that today's message of the Ben Ish Hai, of Rabbeinu Ari, of the Perashah, makes us understand that even basic things that we do and process and experience throughout our life are a vehicle to strengthen the bonding with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and makes our life a more meaningful, a healthier, for sure, a holier, and a happier life. Okay? Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen.